Hi, and welcome to Phoenix Signal Podcast with me, your host, Lou Lawson. Hi, and welcome to this episode in the podcast of anxiety. So, this is my own experience of anxiety and just hopefully helping somebody who also may be experiencing it, but kind of can't relate to some of the things that you see on social media or on articles that you read in Google, for example. There are other search engines available. This does come with a bit of a trigger warning, purely because I might talk about things that you can really relate to, and it might trigger your own anxieties. So just listen to this. If you're going to listen, I would suggest listening to it when you can keep yourself calm, and you've got your tools and resources just to help you. It may also highlight for those of you who haven't experienced anxiety and the kind of things that perhaps you think are helping that actually might not help, but they might. Everybody's different. So for me, anxiety came along and bit me on the arse, basically. It was the most horrific feeling that I've ever had. And to be fair, it started off with, I would probably say, heightened people pleasing. There was a situation in the fact that, I needed to keep other people happy, never mind myself. It was about everybody else. And that then transformed into anxiety. I assumed it was just people pleasing, but actually it was anxiety. And you could think that anxiety, how do I say this? It kind of was like lots of different things building up, and then boom, there it was, like in my face, actually all over my body. But it was a situation that happened, and my God, it was the most horrible bodily sensations I've ever experienced in my life. Um, I don't want to talk about this too much in the sense of course, my limit for these are 20 minutes. And you don't want to listen to me talking too much about this experience. But if you want to know more, feel free to contact me, and I'm happy to share. So, what for me, the experience of the anxiety was horrific. Just a trigger warning, I'm just going to talk about the sensations and feelings. So, dry mouth, having a bit, trying to speak was just horrendous. I felt like I wanted to be sick. In fact, I was urging quite a lot in the mornings, and just the trembling, the uncontrollable trembling in the body was probably it was just like my body was out of control. Like I had no control over it whatsoever. And I kind of kept it hidden for a bit. I didn't tell my husband. I kept it quiet as much as I could because in my mind, I'm a coach. I trained to be a talking therapist, and I'm a mental health first aider. Who the hell was I to ask for help when I had all the tools and techniques to help me overcome all of this? Well, actually, the reality is not everybody can use their own tools and techniques. Having someone to help you is a significant piece that we tend to forget. So it got to the point where it was really bad. It got to the point where I I just wanted to end the bodily sensations. I didn't want to be here anymore, but I contemplated the fact of perhaps ending my own life because it was the sensations of my body that I wanted to get rid of. Yeah, I knew I had so much to live for. So there is a difference, and that really needs to come out when we talk about death by suicide or people considering ending their life. Because what is the reason? It's not necessarily the thoughts that are going through their head. It could literally be the sensations in their body that they just don't want anymore. And it wasn't just that. What was also happening was, where I was keeping it really well hidden, I at the same time became this controlling wife that I never wanted to be. So whatever my husband was doing, I wanted to know where he was, what he was doing, what his reactions were, what his emotions. And I almost became this controlling wife. In fact, I was a controlling wife, thanks to my husband who supported me through this. But he could have told me to fuck off and just ended every I don't know, he could have ended everything, I don't know. But at the end of the day, at that point, I didn't give a shit because the anxiety, because it isn't me, was literally taking over. I just had no sense of control in that respect whatsoever. I hated being in the house. I hated being out of the house. There was no safe place for me to be. It was just horrific and I didn't like it. The only time I perhaps didn't have it was when I was away from anywhere that I knew. So if I traveled for work a bit, whilst I had aspects of anxiety for travel, just getting away from everything was just amazing. The thought of packing a bag and just going away for a while was very high on the list, but when you've got a pack of dogs, sadly, they kind of keep you where you might not want to be. Um, so yeah, I just think it's really important to think, or talk about the fact that anxiety is different for everybody. I could almost function normally to the outsider, but well, working from home was a godsend because you could hide it really well. And it was then noticing that actually I needed to be around people. I needed to be around people in a certain capacity. Um, I think the biggest thing as well, alongside the physical sensations, was the absolute paranoia. Like the thinking of mind reading of what people were thinking, how people were going to react to situations, blowing things out of proportion. Um, and that kind of can lead to wanting to curl up in a ball and just disassociating from the whole of the world. Just you just don't have any control over it. And what I find frustrating sometimes is when somebody is experiencing anxiety and the stuff that comes out of their mouth, they just can't help it. Sometimes people think anxiety, you're going to be really quiet. And yeah, to a degree you are. But when you have the absolute trigger, things just come out that it's the anxiety talking. And it's about protecting yourself. It's about protecting you and whatever it's protecting you from, who knows. Dig deeper if you need to. But it is that aspect of I can talk about it now. I'll be completely honest and say I'm off the medication, which is in my next podcast around the side effects that they don't talk about. Um, but I have to say it has been challenging. Yes, I have the tools and techniques. I've recognized recently that anxiety is slowly trying to creep in, but I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that I'm in a good place to manage this. And will be seeking further support just to work through this. Um, I cannot thank my husband and my family enough for the times that anxiety has just been a complete bitch. There is no safe space. There is nothing. And one thing that I did try, so just to sort of share with you the things that I tried. So yes, I was on medication. I also did therapies because I'm studying to be a therapist. So I did hypnotherapy, EFT, EMDR, and coaching, and all these different therapeutic techniques. Now, one thing that I did try, probably not at the right time, come to think about it, was CBT. And CBT, it has its place. Absolutely, it's amazing. However, when you're in the darkest of days, trying to think of how you could positively react to a situation was near on impossible. It was near on impossible. But I'm not going to disrespect it because it absolutely has its benefits. It just didn't have the benefit for me until about 4 sessions in. So what's that? It's one session a month. So it took its time. But what I wanted to share is those experiences. I'm probably sure I've left some bits out, and that's okay. But if you do want to know more, then you're more than welcome to contact me. I'm in a okay place at the moment to be able to talk about this. I might not have been perhaps yesterday. Various things were happening inside that well, just bleh. Um, but yeah, it is difficult to talk about because you kind of question, what is this feeling? What are these thoughts? Where are they coming from? And actually, it's like it takes hold of you, it takes complete control. So you need to practice tools and techniques whilst you're well. But of course, most of us don't practice them until afterwards and when we need the support. So my advice to anybody is talk, 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 talk about as best as you can. I know you could have dry mouth and you're absolutely struggling to speak, but I do suggest that you talk to someone. Like I said, send me a message. I'm offering sessions to help because getting the tools and techniques there ready, and just knowing that you've got somebody to just listen. I think that's the key. I think another part that I struggled with was using your senses. So using what you see, what you hear. Those two didn't work for me. Those two were probably the worst sensations that I needed to interact with, because actually they were part of the triggers. So I think it's just be aware of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And if you find something isn't working for you, either it's up to you. Try and persevere with it if you want to, or try something different. Try and there's no time scale on recovery. Like, everybody's different, and it depends on what's triggered your anxiety, um, what's going on with it. Like, I just, "Oh, I need to be recovered within such and such." Yeah, of course you do, yeah. But sometimes you just need to take that time just to understand and move forwards, and just seek support. And I know it's easy for me to sit here and go, "Yeah, just seek support," because thankfully I did have that support around me. Um but remember, there was a time when I didn't seek support and I was pretty much on my own. And that's all I can recommend is just talk to someone, try different techniques. I appreciate not a lot of it is available on the NHS, and stuff does come at a cost, but you matter. You absolutely matter. So I don't even know how long this has been, but I think I'm just going to end up going back round in circles. So probably going to bring this to an end here. As I said, my next podcast is all about what they don't tell you, the side effects of medication. That one shouldn't be too long, but it's just something I wanna share with you. I hope anyone has found this useful. If not, thanks for listening. And I'll see you in a few weeks for the next one. Thank you. Hi, and thank you for watching or listening to the Phoenix Signal podcast. For more information, please feel free to check out the website at www.thelettersurr-unique.co.uk.